a1 of I. It is not possible in an array list. I can pass this instruction in an array, but whenever I iterate an array list, I cannot pass an instruction like this. So again, we have to call some inbuilt methods. So there is one method called get. The method name is get, and it is a parameter method. What it will do, it is one non-static method. What it will do, it will accept the index and it will give the corresponding element. So here I will call that a1 dot get of I. So it get method is a non-static method and it is parameterized method. It will accept the index and it will give the corresponding element. So now you see the output. Yeah, 1, 20, 40, and 3. Now we are iterating an array list with the help of for loop. Yeah, so I'll copy this program and I will paste here. I hope there is no doubt here. Iterating an array list using a for loop. Then advanced for loop. Advanced for loop. So what is the syntax for advanced for loop? So first we have to write the keyword for, then here it is data type, one variable, colon, then object reference variable. Then inside this you can print system dot out dot println of variable. So it is the syntax for advanced for loop, or else we will call it as for each loop. Loop. So same we have to follow for keyword, data type, variable, then object reference variable and println of variable. So it is the syntax. Now we will use this for each loop or advanced for loop for iterating an array list, the elements which are present in an array list. So same thing for here. What is the data type I have to mention? Whether integer. So we know that what type of what data type you will of elements you will store in the array list. What is the data type? So we know that in the collection, let it be array list, as set, reset, and all. In the collections we store the elements in the form of objects. We store the elements in the form of objects. So here I have to give the data type as a object. So object, then yeah. So after the object, what I have to pass? I have to pass a variable. Any variable, it's a programmer wish. So here I will take it as a, then colon. After that, object reference variable. So here a1 is a object reference variable. Then I will pass here a1. After that, inside the for loop, println of variable, not object reference variable. Here we have to use variable. Yeah, yeah, that's all. So 1, 20, 40, and 3 we are getting. So we have now we have learned how to iterate an elements present in the collection. So first we have seen for loop, that is normal for loop, or else we call it as a basic for loop. Now we have seen advanced for loop. So we have to write the for keyword, then object like data type, variable, colon, object reference variable, and inside the for loop write the println of a variable. Is it clear for everyone? Okay. Then after that, iterator. So inside the actually iterator is a interface. It is one interface. So I will open the interface, that is iterator interface in Oracle documentation. So you observe the methods there. Is there any suitable methods for iterating the array list elements? Yeah. So it is an interface and it is present in java.util package. So inside the iterator interface, there are two methods, like four methods are there, but in that two methods are very, very important for iterating an array list. So here you can observe as next no argument and next no argument. So with the help of these two non-static methods, we have to iterate the array list. So now you can observe here what is the return type of the as next no argument, that is boolean, and the next no argument element. It will give the element at that position. Yeah. So wait, I will show you how it will work. Yeah. So here first I will create an array list. Yeah. Now I will store some elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. So now I need to iterate these elements. First I have to also use as next method and next method. So here you can observe that the as next method, the return type is boolean, and the next method return type is element. So as next and next method, what it will do means, so initially in the collection, there will be having a cursor. There will be having a cursor. So whenever you call the as next method, whenever you call the as next method, what it will do first, it will check whether after the cursor is there any element or not. After the cursor, is there any element or not? If it is present, it will return true. If it is present, it will return true. And if the elements are not present after the cursor, it will return false. And next method, what it will do? First, it will return the value which is present at the cursor. So if I call now next method, what it will do? It will return the 10. First, it will return 10 because cursor is pointing towards the first block, right? It is pointing towards the first block of an array list. So next method, it will return an element which is present at that point. So cursor is pointing towards the first block. First, it will return the element, that is 10. Then what it will do? It will move the cursor to the next position. It will move the cursor to the next position. So the job of next method is first, it will return the value, and next, it will move the cursor to the next position. So then again you call the as next method. Now where is the cursor? Now cursor is in the second block. So as next method, what it will do? First, it will check whether after the cursor is there any element or not. So element is present. Now as next method it will return true. If the as next method returns true, then you call next method. So now if you call next method at this point, it will give 20 and it will move the cursor to the next position. So again you call the as next method. So now it will check after the cursor element is there or not. Yeah, it is there. It will return true. Now you call next method. What it will do, it will give the value 30 and it will give, it will move the cursor to the next position. So like this, we can iterate the elements in the forward direction. We'll go to an program now. So same thing. And you have to observe here in the Oracle documentation. So these are all present in the iterator interface. But I need to call now here, right? In an array list program, I need to call an iterator interface methods. So how to call here? So first you go and check array list plus. Now you go and check array list plus. So there you can observe some methods will be present for iterator. Yeah. So iterator is method is there. So you can observe here iterator no argument. And what is the return type of the iterator? The return type of the iterator is iterator interface. Now first what you do with the help of object reference variable of an array list, you call an iterator no argument method and it will give the value or data in the form of iterator type. Then you store that it in an iterator type and with that you can call as next and next no argument method. So same thing. First with the help of object reference variable called iterator method. Then you try to store the value. So the return type is iterator. Then I will take down variable. Now we are storing the value inside variable I and it is of iterator type, and with the help of I can easily call the as next and next no argument method. So while I dot as next no argument, then inside the while loop you try to call next no argument. Yeah. So it is the third way, another way of iterating an array list elements. First, what you have to do with the help of array list object reference variable, call the iterator method. Then you store that data inside an iterator type. By using that variable, iterator type variable, you can easily call the as next and next no argument method. So now you observe the output. Yeah. So same thing. 1, 20, 40 and 3 we are getting the output. But you can see some disadvantage here. Where is the print? Yeah. So you can see the disadvantage here. What we are doing, we are iterating the elements in only in the forward direction. Only in the single direction we can iterate the elements with the help of iterator. But if I want to iterate the elements in both the direction, how to iterate in the forward direction also and in the backward direction also I need to iterate. But if you use the iterator methods, that is as next and next no argument, what it will do, it will iterate only in the forward direction. Only in the one direction it will iterate the elements. It will not iterate the elements in the another direction. but I need to iterate now. So what can be done? That's why there is an concept of list iterator. To overcome the disadvantage of iterator, we have to use list iterator. So it is also one of the interface list iterator. So with the help of iterator, we can iterate the elements in the collection only in the forward direction, or else we call it as unidirection, means only one direction. But with the help of list iterator, we can iterate the elements in both the ways, forward and backward. And we call it as bidirectional. So now we'll see the methods which are present inside the list iterator method. Yeah, so you can observe here inside an list iterator interface, there are lots of methods. And what we have seen in the iterator method, as next method is also present in the list iterator interface, and along with that, we have some more methods. So here you can observe as previous and previous no argument. So what it will do as previous no argument method, it will check before the cursor before the cursor is there any element or not. As previous method, it will check before the cursor is there any element or not. If the elements are present, it will return true. If the element is not present, it will return false. And same as that previous no argument method, it will give the element which is present at the cursor, and it will move the cursor to the previous position. Next method, what it was doing, it will give the element where the cursor is pointing towards, and after that, after giving the element or after returning the element, it will move the cursor to the next position. But previous no argument method, what it will do, it will give the value or element which is present in the before the cursor, and at the last it will move the cursor towards the left side or towards the backward, not forward. Is it clear? So yeah, so there is no doubt in the as next. You observe here. So now you call as previous method. First you do think now the cursor is pointing towards the last element. Cursor is pointing towards the last element. What it will do now, as previous method, whenever you call the as previous method, it will check whether element is present before the cursor or not. Now cursor is pointing here, so before the cursor element is present, now it will return true. After or whenever the as previous method returns true, you call the previous no argument method. You call previous no argument method. Now, if you call previous no argument method, what it will do? First, it will give the element before the cursor. So we are having 80. 80 will be printed, and at the last, it will move the cursor to the previous, that is to the backward direction. Now, cursor is pointing here. Now cursor is here. Now again you call as previous method. Now it will return true, obviously, because the element is present before the cursor. Now after returning true, you call previous method. Now what it will give? It will give 70 and move the cursor to the previous position or backward. Again you call as previous, it will return true. Now after that you call previous no argument method. Now it will return 60. Like that we can iterate the elements in backward direction. With the help of list iterator, we can iterate the elements of collection in the forward direction also, in the backward direction also. It is an advantage comparing to the iterator. In the iterator we are having only two methods, that is as next and next method. So here we can iterate the elements only in the forward direction. Only in the single direction we can iterate. But using the list iterator, inside the list iterator, we have as next method also, next method also, as previous method also, and previous method also. So by using all these methods, we can iterate the elements using forward direction also, backward direction also. So you observe the program now. Now, where is the list iterator? List iterator is another one interface. Now, array list, it is separate class. How to call the methods? Now, so check whether is there any list iterator method present in an array list. Yeah, so observe there in the methods of array list, there is one method called, sorry, list iterator of array list. Yeah, so there is one method called list iterator no argument, and it will return the list iterator type. It will return the list iterator type. By that variable, list iterator type variable, you can call the methods which are present in the list iterator interface. So same thing I'll do now here. So first, with the help of object reference variable, you call list iterator no argument method. Then you try to store the returned value in list iterator type. Yeah, with the help of L1 variable, same thing, use while loop. Now L1 dot, first you call as next no argument method, then println of L1 dot next no argument. Then after that again while loop, because we have to use as previous and previous no argument method. So here L1 dot as previous no argument, and again println of L1 dot previous no argument. So now we observe the output. We can, or we will get the elements in both the directions, forward direction and backward direction. So I'll write the message here, iterating forward direction. Then here in the backward direction. So observe the output now. So in the both the directions, we are getting the elements from an array list. So 1, 20, 40, 30, it is in the forward direction. 30, 40, 20, and 1, it is in the backward direction. So it is the advantage of list iterator comparing to the iterator. So how to iterate elements of collection or array list. So we have seen all the ways, all the types we have seen: for loop, advanced for loop, iterator, and a list iterator. So array list is completed. And one thing you can observe here, I think I have written the we have written the characteristics also of an array list. So if I print array list A1 and I'll try to add null values. So again null I will add. Then some double values 2.4, then string. But if I execute the program, we will get all the elements what we have inserted in the array list, right? All the elements we will get. You can observe in the output. So 1, 20, 40, 3, null, 20, null, null, 2.4, ABC. So what are the characteristics of an array list? By observing an output, we can tell in an array list, we can store heterogeneous types of elements, heterogeneous types of values in an array list, and multiple null values are allowed here, and insertion order is maintained. And again we can add duplicate elements. So 20 I have inserted two times, so duplicates are allowed here. So I will write the characteristics of an array list. Yeah. Store multiple null values are allowed. Then duplicate values are allowed. Then insertion order is maintained. So these are the characteristics of an array list. So array list is completed. We have seen the characteristics also and how to insert the element, how to remove the element, and how to iterate the array list. Now we will move into the linked list. So same methods which are present in an array list, same methods are present in the linked list also. All the characteristics of array list are same for the linked list also. So you can observe here. I will change this program from array list into linked list. You can observe the output. So what we got in the array list, we are getting the same output in the linked list also. So in terms of characteristics, there is no difference. In terms of characteristics, there is no difference. The difference is which is suitable for what purpose. For example, array list. So array list follows what type of data structure? It follows array data structure. Then linked list follows what type of data structure? It follows double linked list. So double linked list means nodes will be present. Nodes will be present. So for accessing or retrieving the elements, array list is suitable. For getting the elements from the collection or the list, array list is suitable. Then linked list is suitable for add or removing the elements. Is it clear? So I will write the point here. Yeah, so in the linked list, it is suitable for add or removing an element. But array list, it is suitable for accessing or retrieving an element. So it is the main difference between the linked list and array list. And linked list follows what type of data structure? It follows double linked list data structure. Then array list, it follows array data structure. Yeah. So now we have completed the linked list and array list. So same type is what we have seen for array list using for loop, advanced for loop, iterator, list iterator. Same thing we can use for linked list also for iterating the elements. Now we will see asset and reset. So same methods are present in the asset and reset, but we have to understand the characteristics. It's enough. So I'll convert this program into asset. Now you tell me the output whether any differences are there or not comparing to array list, linked list and asset. So here the only one null value we are getting in an asset, but in an array list and linked list we got all the null values. In this program I have inserted three null values, but only one null value getting. So we can understand that asset allows only single null value or only one null value. Then after that, whether duplicates are allowed, it is not allowed. 20 I have inserted two times, but only 120 is present in an output. So duplicates are not allowed in an asset. And what about heterogeneous elements? Yeah, so we can add all the types of elements. So null, double, integer, string. There is no problem for adding different types of elements. So generally we can tell in an array list, sorry, in an asset, heterogeneous elements are allowed. Then what about insertion order? Whether insertion order is maintained here? No, insertion order is not maintained. These are the characteristics of an asset. So first, insertion order is not maintained. Then single null value is allowed. Heterogeneous elements are allowed. Then duplicates are not allowed. So these are the characteristics of an asset. Adding in elements, removing in elements, same methods, add, remove and all. Then I will convert this program into reset. Yeah. Now you observe the output. We are getting some exception, that is null pointer exception. In which line? 14th line. Why? Because we cannot add null values inside the tree set. See, I will delete this line. Now again I will execute the program. Again some exception. What is that? Null pointer exception. In which line? 15th line. So we can understand that values are not allowed inside the tree set. Even single null value is not allowed. In the as set, what will happen? Only one null value is allowed, but in the tree set, even single null value is not allowed. Now, again, I will try to execute the program. Again, one more exception we are getting, that is class cast exception. Why? Why we are getting class cast exception? Because whenever we try to add different types of elements, that is heterogeneous types of elements, in that tree set, we will get class cast exception. Now again, yeah, now we got the output 1, 3, 20 and 40. Whether insertion order is maintained here, insertion order is not maintained. Then what about duplicates? Whether duplicates are allowed in the tree set, duplicates are also not allowed, and null values are also not allowed, heterogeneous elements are not allowed, but only homogeneous elements are allowed. And you can observe here, the elements are present in the ascending order. So in that tree set, we can determine that the elements or data are stored in the form of ascending order. So we'll write the characteristics of a tree set. Here, insertion order is not maintained. Then null values are not allowed. Homogeneous elements are only allowed. Then duplicates are also not allowed. Then all the elements are stored in the form of ascending order. All the elements are stored in the form of ascending order. So these are the characteristics of an tree set comparing to asset. In the asset, so similar characteristics are present. You can observe there insertion order is not maintained in asset, and in the tree set also insertion order is not maintained, and duplicates are also not allowed in the asset. Same as that tree set, inside the tree set, duplicates are also not allowed. So that's all about the collection framework. So is there any doubt here in all the four implementing classes? Here you have to, for the interviews, right? As a fresher, you have to remember here, main thing, the differences. The difference between asset and the tree set. the difference between array list and the linked list, and the difference between list interface and set interface. And they can ask you some CRUD operations also, like how to create and how to remove, how to insert, how to update, and how to remove and also same thing, how to add an element, how to remove an element, how to get an element. So all the common methods are present in all the four classes, and iterating also same thing we can use. So is there any doubt here? So if there is no doubt means we will end the class. Yeah, so that's all. Backup class is completed. Thank you guys. We can leave. ToString method is present in object class. Here there is no concept of ToString method. But in all the implementing classes, array list, asset, reset, linked list and all, ToString methods are overridden. Because if we want to get an elements, what we have to do? First, for example, here we have seen in the program, what we have done? I am printing the A1 here. So A1 is a object reference variable. Inside the A1, we are storing the address or states. Inside the A1, we are storing the address or states. Inside the A1, we are storing the address. But in this line, we are not getting the address. We are getting the states of the object. Means we can determine that ToString method is overridden in all the implementing classes. Is it clear? Who has the doubt for ToString method? ToString method is present in object class. It will return the address of an object. But if you want to get the states of an object, we need to override the ToString method. Yeah, I hope it is clear.